welcome to my studio. It's a new fame studio here.
I feel famous.
Still a work in progress, but it's coming together. It's coming together for sure. Setting up the podcast studio in here, so definitely going to be filming a lot of podcasts in this room for years to come. So I'm excited. Welcome, and thanks for coming on.
I'm glad you reached out. You know, it's always a great time for us to talk, as we've done numerous in 2024, the beginning of the year, and even before in 2023. And so I'm sure so much has changed since then in terms of like the work that we've taken on. And another year around the globe. It's been, what, 2 years since we've known each other? I feel like it's been maybe longer.
I feel like longer, dude. It's been like 3, 4. Maybe, no, like 3, I would say.
Yeah, I would say 3. It doesn't even feel like it, but just, here we are. And
right.
I remember when you were doing your production with Darrell, because that's how we met. I think that was one of the elements how we indirectly met.
That was my first ever production.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. And so like I was just, when I got my first camera, which is actually this camera right here, I was like, I need to do spec work, right? And we were talking about that in the other podcast for like up and coming filmmakers. It's like spec work is the number one thing that you can do to build up your portfolio. If you're in the video production industry, you have to prove what you can do, I believe, before you even sell any type of big production. Is to get to that level, you need to prove what you can do, right? So you're always going to have to make a sacrifice. You're always going to have to do either free work or work where you get less profit margin. You're going to have to do that and put those videos on your portfolio first in order to get to that next level, right? So that's what I did with Darrell, is kind of just like saw him at the gym recording himself. Literally, it was like, hey, I got a new camera. I've been working for an agency. I want to start my own. Do you just want to like rent out a gym and do like a gym video for your Instagram? He's like, yeah. And we did it. And I'm surprised at how well it turned out. I thought it was going to be horrible. I thought it was, because I didn't know what I was doing with the camera, but I like researched on YouTube how to use the camera and all that. And so like I literally just filmed it on my own completely, and it ended up being great. And through that, word of mouth just branched out into other people and other connections. So yeah, that's where we met. So you were like there since the beginning of my journey, man.
I didn't even know that was your first one, because it did look really good. It looked elite.
Yeah.
Because Darrell was really excited about that, because he would come back on Fridays. We would always meet on Fridays when we lifted, and then he would always kind of give a report card of whatever was happening. But that was one thing he was excited about. Yeah, man.
Like I said, dude, portfolio is like the number one thing, right? When I go to my website guy or the website admin, I see that the number one visited page is my portfolio, so that I know it needs to be dialed in, because that's where everyone's going, man. Like video production is just like what most people really care about is if the work looks good. Like that's literally it. You know what I mean? And if it can make an impact while you're watching it, and it can evoke emotion, they want to see it physically. So I just knew that I needed to dial in the portfolio if I wanted to sell bigger commercials, bigger stuff, which is where we're headed. So yeah, it's been a blast.
That's sensational. Yeah, I agree with you. The portfolio is most important, because that's literally half of my job. It's been half of my priority this year is just following up and showcasing the work that we do for our current clients to attract more clients, not only to attract them, but attract them long term. Because now, the past 2 to 3 years, I've got a solid resume of people that we create commercials for at least monthly.
You do, yeah.
And monthly, those commercials have results, and then some of them that work really well, they stay on for a long time. Like I've got some ads that I just turned off that's been on for a year. But point being is that's what I'm teaching them and showing them, because right now, example, it's tax season, and a lot of my clients benefit highly from people that get their tax returns back.
Right.
To, in this case, fix anything that might be an emergency or essential to their vehicle or whatever, using to go to work or in their home. So from an emotional standpoint, like you're saying, now we have months and months of case studies. So now they're planning beyond that first video, that one video. We're talking about 6 months already planned and plotted for the beginning of a year. In this case, 2025.
So 2025, right?
thrive.
Where do you see like marketing going? You're really into marketing. I've seen your stuff on LinkedIn. By the way, you're on a freaking tear on social media. Like every day, man, you're posting quality stuff.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's honestly very inspiring. Like it makes me think, oh crap, I need to like post too. So thank you for that. But like, do you think it's gonna stay in video? I mean, there's a lot of stuff with AI coming out. Like, do you think it's going to be AI video in 25 that's going to take over? Where do you see marketing in general going? Where do you see like patterns when you're...
So for me, it excites me to know, like when I do see all the AI stuff, it inspires me and gets me more focused to be more in depth for storyline marketing, as well as in terms of like an agency, as well as the businesses that I work with. So AI will just definitely get crazy how unrecognizable it is from like reality, but it's also, people kind of get a glance, and once they know, it kind of gives it's almost dissatisfying, like almost disappointing. And so when people can know that you're signatured of a real story, a real person, people have their appreciation is going to go up for that, is where I'm seeing the value of it. Because when you can really share and show the environment of a location, and in that case, I'm always marketing locally, people have more, they resonate with that, because people want a real feeling and a real interaction or connection online. And what's the best way to do that is if you can best display something that's real, but it's not AI real, so to speak. It's actual human touch to touch, handshaking, and overall verbal. So from there, that's kind of where I'm getting more momentum as the year goes on. And in 2025, that will always be pinnacle, because people can always resonate with a story that has some type of representation towards them, especially if it can at least, if they know it's something real as opposed to not, because you can definitely fool the human mind. Like for some of the stuff's crazy. I'm like, is that real or not?
Well, what do you say about the like Coca-Cola commercials? Did you see that? Like, there's a Coca-Cola commercial
that
all AI, and like I've seen a few others on TV that I can't like remember specifically, but. What do you think about like that?
It's definitely insane. Like I'm sure, like I'm curious to get your perspective on it, but it's definitely, it requires change. Like we have to come to a point where we're ready to push the envelope in how we're evolving our own story. Cause like it's nothing can be replicated more than like a dynamic story. And once it can be replicated, it's only because it was already out there. But we have so many unique situations that happen to us as a business owner or a personal brand every day. If we just stick with that as a foundation, you'll always have that as your signature. Because right now with us, Instagram check marks, before it was just status, but now it kind of right now that's the verification to know that you're a real person now.
Yeah, I see that. I see that side. I always think it just comes down to evoking emotion.
Yeah.
Like when we're talking about AI video, it's just another way to evoke emotion.
Yeah.
Right now, I still believe, as of right now, there is a better opportunity for video production still in the video production industry, using a camera with real people. Right now, I think that's the most effective way to evoke emotion.
Yeah.
With AI getting so advanced, I'm not counting it out as a completely different business model to evoke emotion.
Yeah.
To me, the way I was raised, the way I was taught for marketing is, how can you make the viewer feel what they need to feel?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, to make a decision. Yeah.
And so AI is just another way to do that, in my honest opinion. And I think there's going to be opportunities for businesses like me and you to use AI to evoke that emotion even better and even a stronger emotion. Right now, do I think it's all the way there? No, but very, very soon.
It's speeding up. It seems like I just started using GPT maybe 6 months ago, and it's already been maybe a year or two in terms of like just constantly using it, where at some point right now I use it almost every day, if not every day, where I'd have to be like out in the woods or maybe doing a production. And then I have it on my phone now. So I use it a lot to use for like a think tank, more than anything, or consultant. Like I'm like, all right, act to me as if you're a consultant for a $500,000 a year business that's looking to hire a Nike caliber like agency. That's say the agency that runs Nike's marketing for somebody that's at, let's say, a $500,000 or 6-figure level in terms of revenue as a client, based off of this question that I have. Like, how can you simplify it, and then therefore reverse engineer, how can I get to that point based off of what I currently have?
Well, not only is AI good at that with helping with the messaging and stuff, but it's also good at the technical aspects too. Like you're seeing on Instagram, have you seen those really sophisticated AI video editors where you can change something in a video? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
change the wording.
Those tools, man, like can those be useful to get the point across better? Like if you can change the color of a shirt someone's wearing, or you can change the look on their face, all these little things to get across that exact vision for the video that you have. Like, I feel like that's really where people should be focusing, right? Like it's just a tool for us to be able to evoke that emotion even better, is what my opinion is.
No, I agree. I see it as like styles, because right now with AI right now, it's getting close to being irreplicable in terms of like not knowing the difference. But right now it's a style of a way you can implement evoke emotion. But not only that, it can help you cut costs, because I'm sure that, like right now, if there's a $10 million shoot and you can't change the shirt of the colors for 17 scenes, if the AI's tool can change it to really make sure you meet the point without having to reshoot $4 million worth of that full $10 million production, then that's going to be a lifesaver. As long as the pinnacle is like, how can I create such an impactful story that's so memorable in the minds? Because at this point it's archives of stories. It's like,
it's all psychology, man.
Yeah, it's a library. The internet's literally a library, and people are searching on it every single day. And as a business owner that's watching this, whether it's a pole fencing company or automotive shop or a roofing company, how dynamic and impactful is the story that you're trying to tell? And does that have a combination of real actual content of you actually in the field with actual AI? The point is, how big is the depth? And most importantly, what's the result and the feedback is the two things that I pay attention to understand how to make the better thing, or maybe make the next episode. Because that's kind of how I look at it now when it comes to when you make one production or commercial, it has the opportunity to jump into the next episode, or AKA the next commercial, because people binge stuff now. It's not, it's Netflix. So people watch 10 episodes at a time. So it's like, how can you have 10 commercials ready for season 2, so to speak, so you can consistently have a place in someone's mind?
You're not watching this for whatever. You're watching this obviously for takeaways. And so like if you just click stop watching right now, like that's what I would say. And I'm sure Shawn would say the same. It's just like freaking tell your story online, bro, because it's free and it's accessible to everyone. Yeah.
And not only tell your story, but let's say you're somebody that's watching this and you're just an executive, so to speak, inside of a business, or you're looking to you want to land that big job. If you're learning skills that are helping you essentially become a better fit for, let's say, a position that you want in the future, it could be a year from now, 6 months from now, or even tomorrow. When you go into those interviews or you present yourself, have a portfolio of you documenting your process and growing your skill set over time. Like now for you, whether you want to stay in this industry or you want to go and film the big movies, people can see a time lapse of you filming the Rails commercial all the way now, which you could literally make an edit for this, is just fire, to all the way to shooting with Michael Phelps in terms of work, doing the shoot with Ben. And so that gives contrast of somebody that might want to put money into you to say, hey, I want Levi to be an executive on my team to help me produce this big movie, because I see the consistencies in how he tells stories, and I want to get that type of sauce or element that he has that I see that's grown in the past X amount of years. And
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Because we were just talking about like how portfolio matters, but like your social media is your resume, right? If you're telling your story over time, like you just said, don't you think people who are hiring you are going to go there because that's your whole, they could know everything about you by just going to your Instagram. And so if you learn effective storytelling and have the right content on your Instagram, that's going to take you places that no other platform can, because people are going to be able to know you before even like talking to you, right?
Yep.
They can go on your Instagram, see the stories, see how far you've made it, right? And so that's the beauty of it, really.
And that's that goes back to the AI thing, the authenticity of reverting back to things that you can control. That's what if you can record those things, whether you're at somebody that wants to get a higher paying job and you're learning a skill, or you're a business owner that wants to build rapport with people and there's 100 competitors like you, but you want to be known as the obvious choice or the most trusted, just document what you're doing, how you're going through it, how you're getting better, how you're handling issues. That's irreplaceable versus something that you can make up of what AI can create. Because every unique, especially if you have a customer base, every unique customer has a specific situation or story that you can tell that's unique to their location, to who they are, to their immediate circle. And you're not lying about anything. It's literally something that is happening. It's not made up. It's like this will happen on December 11th, 2024. I don't know if today's the 10th because it's my brother's birthday. But whatever happened today is unique. Example, I woke up today, I ate breakfast, I had my calls. You reached out to me a few weeks ago to do a podcast. I was like, hell yeah, I haven't done a podcast with Levi in a minute. And I've been on a roll on my own doing content. So I would love to catch up with him, recap his year. Now I'm here. I got stuck in the alley because I didn't know where it was at because it's his new studio. Yeah. He showed me his studio before it actually became the official studio. And here we are sitting down. Like, it's very tailored and unique. And I'm not selling anything that didn't happen. I'm just telling you what happened. It's not like, did you know that the square root of pi equals? No, we're not doing that. It's a unique situation that happened in that day, in that second, in that time frame.
Yep.
That's what everyone has. And that's the basis. If people could follow, you'll develop some type of following that will either hurt you or hinder you, because it can hurt you as well. But now that we're conscious of it now, 10 years into social media, now you can kind of think about it. If the next 16-year-old Levi or Shawn, or 13-year-old, 10-year-old Levi or Shawn's watching something like this, and they can be conscious for the next 5 to 10 years and lock in. And
well, not even just from like a resume standpoint, but think of like anyone who you like, think of like a contractor you've hired to fix your air condition or to fix your car, right? Like, where do you like put yourself in a customer's shoes when you are the customer to other businesses? Where, like, for me personally, I stalk their website. I stalk their Instagram. I want to know about them, right?
Yep.
Because I want to know if this is a mechanic that I can trust. I want to know if this is a legit air conditioning company that is going to fix my AC, or is this like, do the reviews say this? Is their website like legit, right? And especially when you see a video on their website, man,
especially if it's a famous video production.
Yeah, a fame video production, yeah. But seriously, when you go on like a website and you see a high quality video, like say you're going to hire an AC company, we'll use that for this example, and you're looking up their reviews, you look at their website to see if they're legit. Because AC businesses, me and you know that's just like a shady kind of business. You've got people who just stuff towels up there, and you know what I'm saying? 100%. So you want to know they're legit. You go there, you see a high quality video, and you see the CEO talking, you see customers talking in that video saying, I've used this air conditioning company. Man, I never like had anyone good. Everyone else that I hired, they were just trying to fix the problem really quick. I went to this company and they fix it like that. And now they are the number one. That's why I'm sitting in front of the camera telling you that all these things subconsciously go into the end consumer's mind. And in the end, that's what makes them make that decision. It's just trust. Yeah. It's attention and trust, right? And so if you could build those things through storytelling, then that's how you're going to have a successful business. It's just period.
The first thing that pops in my head, all that in summary, the tables have turned. Before it was the it was the employee that was looking to get hired that had the spotlight under him. Even nowadays, you look up people's social media and you want to see if you're going to hire somebody reputable. But now as the business, if you're the CEO and you're watching this video or you're responsible for the marketing, it is just as important to show that you have some type of lively presence on the internet. You're responding to comments, responding to Google reviews. You actually have a trending positive a positive reflection of your brand, of your business, because if you don't, you're gonna have 20%, 30%, if not more, in some cases, more of people not wanting to work with you because you think it's not an important thing to have better marketing, consistent themes or commercials to be ran, storylines put in place, because you think, oh, if no one's clicking, no, people are watching you at all times. The mistakes you make, the mistakes your employees make, how you handle adversity. So if you want to be somebody that pushes ahead of that, you've got to make it a big priority in 2025 to therefore pay attention to the details, hiring storyline marketing and fame to do a production or run your advertisements, because we're paying attention to what the feedback is of what people are saying. And we're keeping a pulse on the emotion that we're evoking, because it's literally like the game whack-a-mole where it goes up and you can hit the top. It's like, what's your barometer of emotion and trust out there? Some of you guys don't even know, and that's the problem, and that's where we come in to really give you a baseline and build upon that.
Yeah, we've been doing it for years, and we know how to build trust and emotion online. So speaking to that, kind of segueing, we kind of are going backwards in terms of timeline. We talked about the future. We're talking about the present.
I like this. This is the best
podcast. Why don't we go to the past? Like, what are the lessons you've learned this year so far in your business?
I would say it's really clear. Like, you can't. Well, this year has been a lesson of growing. So I've been growing. This year I've done at least 10 to 12 different productions. And it's been all across the United States. And so
nice.
Now it's to the point where I can't do it by myself. And so now I'm becoming more of a vocal, where I'm removing myself from the internal side of businesses in terms of operations and in terms of maybe clients onboarding and actually running ads. And then soon this year to move away from doing productions by myself and not have them going on without me being present. So this year has been the lesson of growing, demanding more in 2024. I've demanded more business. I've got more credibility. I've got more case studies. People are winning. And so prices are starting to increase behind that. But now it's finally adding other resources and putting other people in the power and letting go. So nice. I'm able to focus on what I'm best at. In this case, it'd be doing things like this, where talking about those successes in detail and the vision and impact that we're having, as opposed to just being in the business. So that's basically what my lesson has been, going from solo to, having the Avengers, so to speak, a form where right now there's like 5 of us, where I'm getting help, and now I'm finally just delegating it all. So I finally can just, hey, let's jump on podcast, Levi, on Tuesdays every Thursday, and Thursday every month. So that was my big lesson. What about for you?
The big lesson that I've learned from this year, I would say, is just the quality of work matters more than anything. This is just from my personal business in video production specifically, but I think it also applies to other businesses as well. Is it all goes down to the product. You look at Apple, and you look at Tesla, right? These companies, actually Apple does a lot of marketing, but even Tesla, they don't do any marketing. They just have the best car for the best price, right? So they don't have to do any marketing. So their product's just that good to where you don't have to do marketing. I'm not saying don't do any marketing at all, but really it comes down to, do you do good work or not, right? Especially for service-based businesses. Yep. For me, if you look at a year ago to now, our quality of work, it looks like a movie. All of our videos look like movies now. That is the vision that we aim for, is high quality, emotion evoking, really deep kind of videos, right? Because those are the ones we've seen that have the most impact, are those really emotional videos. And we've just focused on this year. Another lesson is just like, instead of just creating videos and capturing whatever it is they're doing, is creating a movement, right? Creating movements is like, you look at the Nike Just Do It campaign, those sort of things. It's like, they're not just marketing something, but they have a core movement and a core vision for their company and where they're trying to go, right? And so that's what I like to create, man, is like those movements. Like, where are you going? What's your even purpose for starting this business in the first place? Because people really like to cling on to those sort of movements, and they relate to those movements, so they in turn buy your product, right? So those are like, that's, I guess, the main lesson that I've learned. While I was talking, I thought of a question for you.
Okay.
When you have been advertising this year, what trends are you seeing in that? Which sort of ads work the best? Now, you're specifically in the automotive industry, or are you all?
I'm service-based first, and then my biggest priorities and success is automotive and home service. So it could be an automotive shop, and then on the other hand, we're working with chiropractors as well as HVAC companies.
Cool. So what types of content, I should say, have worked the best for you when you're running ads? Like, where have you seen the best results?
Yeah.
Specifically.
So right now, my sweet spot right now for running advertisements on, at least in this case, Facebook and Instagram, anything that's anywhere from as little as small as a 15-second clip.
Okay.
Has been working really effectively. If you can get if you can master that, then that's pretty great. And then also testing the range of a 90-second commercial on social media has been working from a time standpoint, because if the consumption rate doesn't drop drastically, maybe like 20%, let's say 100 people are watching a video in its entirety every single day, and then maybe 60% of them only get through the whole video, and then 30% maybe drop off at the 50% mark. That's a pretty phenomenal video, because Facebook typically feeds the same content you watch once.
So you're talking about Facebook
and Instagram, yes.
Okay, and Instagram.
Yeah.
I hear you talking about like YouTube ads a lot.
Yeah.
What about those? Like, what's the best length for each platform, I guess, in your...
in my experience, 2 to 3 minutes has been a pretty prime.
Really, that long?
Yeah, because people are already primed they're already searching for information where they're prepared to watch content for a while.
Interesting.
And that's why...
is that on YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube.
So YouTube is actually better for longer form.
Yeah, because people are likely to be on there unless you train your audience to do that. Like, that's the thing. Like, for me, I keep pushing the boundary of how long, just with the, of course, not trying to sacrifice the quality of what's being told in terms of substance, because I want to train people into becoming long-term viewers and not just creating stuff that's entertaining. Like I said,
that's a good point, right? Because like, people are on YouTube to consume longer form content, so they're going to commit to longer form video, or I guess I should say they're going to be more likely to commit to a longer form advertisement, right?
Yep.
Also, doesn't YouTube like not charge unless they watch the full video? Like, don't they not charge per click?
Yeah, if someone doesn't watch, and I haven't looked it up in quite some time, but based on how I get charged for it now, it still works the same. But if no one will watch, they won't charge you if someone doesn't watch for more than 30 seconds. So they'll only able to charge you for somebody that makes it to 30 seconds, and therefore they'll count that as a view. What
types of businesses work best on YouTube advertisement?
YouTube advertisement, well, e-commerce works really well. I have people that I know that I've worked with this year that are advertising on YouTube, like dog training companies.
Yeah.
I have a lot of businesses that I work with where it's very niche, like dog trainers work really well on there. Anybody that's a dog trainer that might have a following of 25,000, 100,000 followers, that works really well because they already have a loyal following. And with YouTube, you can retarget your subscribers that are already loyal to you. Let's say you have an offer, which means like I would rather have 10,000 subscribers on YouTube than 10,000 followers on TikTok any other day, because those 10,000 subscribers are
going to be more loyal.
They're already watching some type of content longer than 5 minutes at a time.
Wait for that to pass.
Okay. No, I'd rather have those followers than TikTok followers because they're more committed individuals. Because that's the thing. When it comes to attention being an asset, it requires people to be able to sit down and stay with a task or stay with a narrative in this case.
That makes sense. Yeah. So what about LinkedIn? I've been big on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn Ninja.
Yeah, man. I've gotten so many clients from LinkedIn. Like I literally just focus on LinkedIn right now because it works so well for my business for whatever reason. Do you want to speak a little bit about that? Why do you think it works for my business specifically so well? Because
that's a good question. I think you've built a great foundation from LinkedIn, and then with all the individuals that you work with, it seems that they're indirectly sticky with they hang out on LinkedIn as well. So when people, as long as you can develop some camaraderie of at least 10 to 20, maybe 30 people on like one platform, especially inside of the realm of people might be potentially doing business with you, it makes you look 10 times as better. And it essentially gives you the token of trust where people are less resistant or they're likely to reach out to you to be like, okay, I can work with Fame, I can work with Levi, I can work with his team because he already has such a phenomenal track record, but it also shows and shares with the people that he's either worked with or people that know people he's worked with, and they give him good affirmation. Right. So you've built a lot of momentum with the consistency you've been done over the years, I think.
I think also for people watching this, a key takeaway from this conversation is like, be committed to the social media platform that you're working on. Right? Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because like if you are fully committed on a social media, it's not just post and then let it go, right?
No.
It's like, it's called social media. You need to be interacting with people, making connections, commenting on their stuff, and be authentic about it too. Because people can tell, like, the LinkedIn generic response, like, congrats, or, great job with the exclamation point. It's like, be authentic, man. Like build connections, make friends, be social on social media. And that's like a key component that people, I think, don't even think about. They just want it on autopilot. Yeah. And that's just, honestly, if you want it like that, don't even do social media. You have to be committed. You have to be posting on there videos of not just your story and interacting with people who are commenting on your stuff, right? Replying to the comments and listening to people saying, hey, can you make a video on this? Making a video on that.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's kind of the mindset that you need to have going into social media.
Yeah. Going into 2025, like right now, I discovered like one of the great tools, like Opus, that's been helping me a ton.
What's Opus?
Well, Opus is, it'll take some podcasts. It'll help clip it up essentially like pretty quick. It'll take an hour. It'll take this in a very long period of time.
Maybe I'll use Opus.
You'll be honestly shocked. You'll honestly be like, dude, what the, like, actually. Yeah. Like last night I clipped up, like I have 2 hours of content that I started last night. I woke up, I already have 60 clips. And not to mention, you can type keywords of what was said. So what I'll do is I'll listen to it. Like example, I would listen to this podcast and then I would type in keywords that I wanted to focus on. And then it would ask me, how long on average do you want the clips? 0 to 3 minutes or 30 seconds to 90 seconds. And then it will give the starting points on some of the things that we've talked about. Like we would talk about Michael Phelps, or we talk about 2025 or the previous. So it makes creating content a little bit more efficient, especially someone that might have a lot. Cause that's where I'm at right now. I'm about to be planning 60 days of content where I just need to be in a room. I have a team now where I'll just give my in-depth thoughts to, let's say 30 clips in like a day or a couple of hours. And then I will then have that be scheduled amongst, or I'll have that edited to someone like, hey, can you add the B-roll that I've organized based on these topics that I'm talking about? Cool. And it helps me systemize the volume and most importantly, the quality. Because now I'm more conscious of what I'm talking about with you, because now I know if I can be conscious of be better communicator, add it in there when it comes to Opus, then I'll be able to be more efficient and they'll grade you on hooks too. It'll grade you on like, was this hook, it would rate it 0 out of 100. Like this was an A- video. This is a B- hook, A- flow. And then it'll be like C- delivery or it's basically 4 grades on each video on each side.
Interesting. So Opus, for people who are listening, use that.
Yeah. But that's going to the point and make this full circle, because that helps. But this is where the expertise comes into place, because that you might hear that and like, oh wow, I can go ahead and crank a lot out, but you need to have a storyline and you need to have a purpose of what are you building? Are you just posting the post, or do you have a plan, in this case, going into, let's say, the new year, of how you want to be seen? Or are you, because a lot of people start content or they hire a production agency,
but they don't think about like how they want to be portrayed.
And they burn out after the first week or first month, when we're thinking about 6 months already. It's January, about to be January now. I'm already thinking about the summer, right, for myself as well as clients. So what are you doing? Are you just going to post one day, or are you going to get ambitious and then you're just going to get posting for a week and hope that it works? Or are you going to be committed to the process? Yes. Planning ahead.
Yep. Yeah. Planning ahead, super important. Having a vision for your future. You look at big companies. What are they doing? They always have their projections for 2025, 2026, and so on. Why aren't you doing that as a small business? If you're not doing that, that's, I would say, is number one. Every large company that I've worked with always is talking about the future, right? They are always, the successful companies, I should say, not large, but the successful companies that I talk to speak in that mindset of, yeah, we want to create this video, but here's why. Because we want to do this in the future. We want to create this movement. We want to start speaking to this audience in the future more, because our product appeals to that audience more, right? So it's very strategic in the way these successful companies think. So as a business owner, it honestly, for me, it inspires me as well to be planning ahead and thinking about those little things, right? Because it's almost eye-opening when you see these successful companies doing it. You're like, crap, I need to be doing this in mind. I need to be planning ahead. And so having that in mind is, I feel, very, very important going into the new year. So yeah, man.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about, bro.
So much.
It's so much to talk about, but I'm loving, like I say, you've already evolved, bro.
So yeah, Shawn, just final message to everyone. What would you say is the key takeaway from this podcast, and maybe something that people can learn from? Just a final message.
Yeah. If your story isn't aligned with your marketing, then you're failing the entry point to deserve a thought in someone's mind, especially if you want them to be a potential buyer, or if not at some point being a buyer of your business. And I think something that you said something along the lines of, it's social media. Be social, because it's not enough to just post and make a caption. You want to have some organization, and you want to have your ear close to the wall, metaphorically speaking, to understand what people are saying, so you can make a better narrative, have a bigger impact. And at the end of the day, what's most important, increase your revenue and experience growth pains that you necessarily never had, because that's typically what happens when those things happen. You got to be prepared, being a better leader and having a better business to handle the growth. So that would be my 2 takeaways right there. Yeah.
And I would just say, to add on to that, attention is the most important thing, and I can't say it again. Social media is the best place for that. So use social media strategically and come up with a plan. Write down what you're going to do in 2025, what types of videos you're going to produce in 2025. Are you going to start a podcast? And if so, write it down and actually do it.
Be consistent.
Be consistent. Yeah. Put yourself out there. Because it is essential. You just need to start doing it. So write down the types of content you're going to produce and stay consistent and be determined and be disciplined with it. So that's what I would say. That's my final message.
Thrive in 2025. Let's go.
That's right. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Peace.